Hello, good morning. My name is Peter Lee and I live in Exeter, Devon. I am a studio potter and I work in two disciplines. I work in the discipline of raku, pottery and stoneware, and I'll come to explain those in a little while. First of all, how did I get interested in pottery? Well, when I was 15, I left school and I went to work in a pottery in Newton Abbot, Devon called the New Devon Pottery. And although that was a very good apprenticeship, it wasn't really what I was after. It was slip-made, factory-produced ware, and I was really interested in hand-thrown and hand-produced pottery. I eventually left there, and then I went on to a whole different world of doing different things. But some 30 years ago, I got reinterested in pottery because I used to visit a gentleman who was famous throughout the world for his pottery, Bernard Leach, the international potter. He was a friend of my family's, and I used to visit and stay with him and talk with him, and this reignited my interest in particularly in stoneware pottery and particularly in the Leach style of pottery. So then I went on to go to night school, eventually to a training college, and eventually producing my own ware in my own studio in Exeter, which I've now been doing for some 30 years. Now, the two disciplines were raku and stoneware, domestic ware. My first talk of the raku pottery. Raku is a Japanese term meaning a way of pleasure or beauty, loosely translated. And it stems originally from the tea ceremonies, but bears no relationship now to what they did originally in tea ceremony. The raku ware is mainly using a copper turquoise glaze. I fire the pot in a kiln made out of an oil drum, gas fired, up to 1000 degrees centigrade. I take the pot out of the kiln at that point, drop it into sawdust. Whilst it's in the sawdust, it gets starved of oxygen, and potters call that a reduction atmosphere, and where it's starved of oxygen, the copper luster comes out. So this is an example of a pot that has been made in the raku process, and you can see the predominance of the copper luster, and where it wasn't starved of oxygen, it still retains its turquoise colour. This is a second pot, also of the same type. Raku is very exciting. It's sometimes quite dangerous, gets very hot, but certainly so exciting because it's only when you clean the pots after they've been in the sawdust that you get to realise the beauty of what you've produced, if it is beautiful. Stoneware pottery is generally made for functional use. This is an example of a bowl that I made using a glaze that I produced myself. There's a slight hint of green somewhere on it. I love the subtleness of this just slight hint of a colour. And these are, again, as you can see, styled in Oriental styling, which is still really truthful to the origins of where I began to do pottery, and I love producing this type of ware. And I also have a platter that is a stoneware platter, and this is used for serving, for eating from. They are totally dishwasher proof. It's fired to 1280 degrees centigrade, and as its name suggests, very strong, as it is stoneware. Thank you.